Welcome to another exhilarating episode of Comic Book Straight Talk, brought to you from the secret basement inside one of America's oldest comic shops, Tulsa's own The Comic Empire. Now, true believers, open up your ear holes and get ready to have your head filled with the best comic book knowledge this galaxy can handle. That's right, it's time for another nerd overload with Comic Book Straight Talk.
Welcome back to Comic Book Straight Talk. This is Dalian.
Kenny.
Terry.
Carrington.
And James.
And
Carrington making her comeback.
she's come back. I know she's been missing for a couple days, or a couple of days,
A couple days.
a couple episodes.
We misplaced her.
We cleaned up and we found her upstairs. So today we're going to talk kind of about, kind of going back. We've made comments about it before, about cheesecake art and stuff, and so kind of did some digging. Kenny did, and
Terry did more.
Terry did some too. I did a little myself. So we're going to try to talk about the cheesecake, the word, dealing with the comic art and such.
Wait a minute. All I looked up was everything about actual cheesecake, the food, and Cheesecake Factory, etc. And we're talking about art?
Yeah, I'm talking about art. Sorry. I thought you knew.
Well, my research is for nothing.
But apparently you can go... But is there good cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory, since you got me now wondering?
There is some good cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory. But I would recommend their strawberry shortcake, personally.
Strawberry shortcake at Cheesecake Factory, okay.
How about you, Carrington? You eat there all the time.
I like the chicken.
Well, that must have
I'm
really,
down with the
really
chicken,
loved it.
yeah.
So
So the
talk
term...
about cheesecake.
The term cheesecake, as we were talking before we started, 1600s?
1660s.
Where it first, where you found, you said it actually became...
Well, it does go back to a little bit to the Roman Empire, a little bit with where they were, had the cheesecake delicacies and stuff, and referred to women of some promiscuity.
Promiscuity.
Issues.
Yeah. But in the 1600s, though, I mean, you had famous artists back then. Probably drawing. Don't ask me to mention. I can't think of any right now. They would draw the as you said, probably the scantily clad or promiscuous women in different pictures. I mean, I know it got more famous though during the war times.
Yeah.
Well,
and the origin of it, talking about that, some people say there was a photographer in New York in 1920s or 1912 that was taking a picture of a woman, and the wind blew her skirt up and it showed a little more leg than you were allowed to see, and he said, wow, this is better than cheesecake. But cheesecake art has been around forever. I mean, Coca-Cola
Right.
in the 1800s was using pretty women to sell Coke.
Yep.
Because it's a proven fact, when you're trying to sell something in advertising, what do? You use a pretty woman, and it sells better.
That is true. Or
a
a
monkey. This is DC figured out.
Yes. So yeah, I mean,
but the height of its popularity was in the 40s during the war.
that's when they would do the.
You got the nose art, you got
Right.
the pinups. You had Betty Grable, and
late 40s or late 20s for World War One.
yes. But the height of cheesecake
Right.
was in the 40s.
Because I can remember watching the old episodes of MASH, and they're from the Korean War, and like, oh, look at this, it's Lauren Bacall, or whatever. So yeah.
And they kind of had the opposite for guys too. They called him the beef
Milk
hogs.
hogs?
Or
beefcake.
beefcake. Yeah, beefcake. So. And that was also a very early term as well.
Right. But yeah, nose art, and then it became the pin up art and all that. It's changed its name, through the years. Famous ones are.
Well, you've got George Petty, Gil Elvgren.
Petty was probably the early, because I've heard the term Petty Girl. I
believe Alberto Vargas was one of the earliest ones. Earl Moran, Zoe Mozart. Those were all
She's a newer one, though, isn't she? Or did she study under? Did she study under Elvgren?
I don't remember. It was either Elvgren or Vargas. But I think Vargas goes back to the 20s. So.
Could be. I think, yeah, because he did some early Playboy, I want to say, in there, I think. Which I guess Playboy would be the 50s, though, so yeah, never mind. I know for me, I like Alberto Vargas' stuff, but I've always loved Gil Elgren.
Yeah.
His is more, I don't want to say pure, but more...
Well, that's...
fun?
Yeah. Well, that's something that needs to be defined is there's a difference between cheesecake art and overtly sexual art.
Right.
Okay? Cheesecake art has kind of an innocence to it.
Yes.
And it can contain nudity, but it usually doesn't.
Mm-mm. It was more of it's kind of what I don't know, I equate to kind of like a burlesque show.
Yeah.
In a sense. You're going to see different things, but, you may not see them for,
Yeah.
So.
And, when you guys said you wanted me to do this and I started researching it on Google, it was just like nothing but people complaining about it and blah, blah. Oh, my God, Wonder Woman is not cheesecake. Well, I have news for you. Wonder Woman is cheesecake. That's what good girl art is.
Right, and that's what they would call it, good girl art, on the nose of the planes. It's that, and I mean, I think it's more of an empowerment, in a sense. I wouldn't look at it as a degrading.
No,
that's what they're probably saying.
There was a level of innocence, and there's a level of innocence in cheesecake art. Okay. I don't mean to talk bad about him because Jim Ballin is one of my favorite comic artists, but his stuff is not cheesecake, okay?
No,
Taro is overtly sexual.
Now, I have seen some of his stuff that he has scaled down and it would be considered cheesecake.
Yeah.
Adam Hughes is considered cheesecake.
Yep.
And, I mean, there's been some that I'm just like, well,
Didn't they also call it cheesecake art? Didn't they used to call it like pinup art? Because it would come up a lot of the early calendars. You'd have them hanging up in the garage and stuff like that.
Yeah, buy your motor oil.
The whole thing of a pinup was that you could cut it out of a magazine and literally pin it on your wall.
Yeah, I mean, Coke used pinup girls.
Yep.
To sell, I have a serving tray, a Coke serving tray I used to have that had a girl up against a fence and she's drinking a Coke, and so.
But even when you did see nudity in cheesecake art, it was like the girl bent over and the dress fell off her shoulder or something.
Or
it
bubbles.
was never.
They kind of bubbled like in the bathtub. Bubbles will cover the nipples a little bit.
Yeah. But it was it's not overtly sexual. I mean, you have to.
Right. Now we talked about cheesecake. There was a time where good girl art kind of made way and kind of paved into the bad girl art in the 90s.
Well, bad girl art would not be cheesecake.
No.
Unless they just happen to draw them in that way.
Right. But I know some people would consider bad girl art cheesecake, and I don't, because it's, like you said, it's not. It's more the over-sexualization, I think, with the bad girl stuff. So.
Well, not over-sexually.
No.
Overt.
Overt, sorry.
But, you had Elvgren and Vargas and Petty and all those guys, and then came the newer ones with, Matt Baker and Jack Cole, Bill Ward, Bill Wenzel. Basically anyone that worked for Iger Studios.
Right.
I mean, what do you think Sheena is?
Yeah, Sheena.
She's a woman in a leopard skin.
Well, she was the answer to Tarzan, because Tarzan was considered beefcake.
Yeah.
And so you have Shanna.
Go back to the history. Did you mention the Gibson girls?
I did not.
No, we did not. Who were the Gibson girls, Terry?
Charles Dana Gibson he created like one of the earliest forms of pinup illustrations, known as the Gibson girl. She was an image idolized beauty in the early 20th century. She was proper, self-confident, and maintained an alluring gaze to the viewer. But they at the same time represented mischief as well as liberation from tradition.
Yeah.
And then basically after World War One, the Gibson Girl was like no longer relative, and that's when you started having the like we're talking about the flappers, and it developed into vaudeville and stuff like that. So that's just another early representation.
I actually think I've ever
of
heard
pinup
of Bill
illustration.
Gibson.
Yeah, you should look it up. And find out more information about it.
But yeah, I mean, cheesecake art, like you said, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually smiling or
Right.
grinning, or they have that shocked look on their face,
Mhm.
like the classic Dave Stevens, Betty Page pinup.
With the photographer.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's we're talking like more current artists. I mean, I think you were getting ready to mention
Well,
it.
you're talking about Vargas, and eventually Vargas was hired by Playboy to do illustrations and stuff. So
Yeah.
Some of examples of the current stuff, though.
Well, and so did Bill Ward.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, and Jack Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about Matt Baker? I'm sorry.
and usually their illustrations were like we said, they weren't, they kind of maintained a standard.
They did.
They did. They did. Yeah.
Sorry.
Of what the early Playboys were like, they were fun and a little promiscuous and stuff.
Right.
So
I know Matt Baker. He beautiful art, good girl artist, who passed away at a young age. So his stuff is highly collectible.
Yeah.
Dave Stevens is another person that passed away. Not a whole lot out there of his stuff. Really good cheesecake artist. He's passed away at a young age. I think he was young. He was in his 40s, 50s.
I think he was in his mid-50s.
50s. I don't see a whole lot of today. I mean, of that
sure.
style. Of that
Oh,
style.
sure.
I mean, Adam Hughes. I mean,
Art Germ,
well, I think there is some, but I mean the
Yeah.
pure.
J. Scott Campbell.
But are they
Germ.
cheesecakey or are they just cute women?
Yeah,
I think they're
I think Art Germ's cheesecake.
I think there is some elements of
Cheesecake-esque.
cheesecake in his art. Yeah.
And
I don't think it's
Campbell, not so much now, but when he was doing Danger Girl,
Yeah.
that was total cheesecake.
That's true.
I mean, it's not your traditional cheesecake. I think it's an evolved form of it.
Yeah. But, I mean, you still have Olivia, you have Jennifer
Yeah.
Janesco.
Yeah, I was asking you the other day about her, what she's been doing. I haven't.
I don't know.
I don't know Olivia too. I mean, I haven't seen a new Olivia art book in a while.
Olivia's getting up there.
Yeah.
She's in her 60s, I think, if not
The
70s.
Vallejos.
Yeah.
I never saw them as cheesecake.
Unless
They
you're like.
were pinup artists, but they had more of that fantasy art.
I mean, I guess if
It was
you
more like bodybuilding type art.
Yeah. I guess if
Yeah,
you liked
I mean-
fantasy cheesecake, I guess you could call them that. We just make a whole new genre
But
now.
I mean,
Cheesecake
speaking of
artists-
fantasy, I mean,
Like you kind of,
Frazetta and
Yeah.
Wally Wood. I mean, those guys did cheesecake too.
Oh yeah.
it's like you said, it was more cheesecake was more natural art.
Yeah.
It was just things
And
that they would probably sort of normally do, but just a little bit off.
Well, it's more prevalent also back then than it is now, really, because like you said, Googling search and all the feminists and stuff, and
Yeah.
times have changed. I mean,
But I mean, it's some of the most cheesecake characters ever were Betty and Veronica.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's an innocence about cheesecake. It's
Yeah.
not just sexualizing a woman.
No. Well, like I said, it's kind of an empowering kind of, and like we were talking about the Gibson girls, I mean, it could be. I don't want to say it's a role model, but I mean, I know what I'm trying to say. I'm just not getting there. So I'll just shut up.
It's like the women in cheesecake know the power they have.
Yes, that's kind of where I think I was heading to. So,
They don't need to display it because they know they have it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Whereas, Razor and,
oh, the bad, yeah,
all the bad girl stuff, it's, they were displaying it.
right,
So,
yeah.
there's a difference between sexualized art and cheesecake.
Yes. Well, like I mentioned earlier, Adam Hughes is, I think, one of the big masters of of Cheesecake now, and
Terry Dodson.
and Dodson, and and like you said, Art Germ, I could
And
see
Cho.
Oh yeah, Frank Cho.
yes.
I mean his art book he had like 2 volumes called Cheesecake
Right.
and Critters. So.
Mhm. Yep.
Or no, it was a portfolio that he had. It was
Yeah.
called Cheesecake and Critters. But, his influences were people like Matt Baker, so... And Dave Stevens.
Right.
Well, Joe does. He has fun with it. You
Yeah.
know,
That's
he'll
what
poke
Cheesecake's
fun
about.
at
Yeah.
himself and others.
Yeah.
His outrage covers and.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the outrage cover. You're talking about the Spider Woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That everyone.
How long do I have to stand like this until this book sells out?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Or
think.
the one where he drew Wonder Woman and he goes, and she was saying, God, I hate when Frank Cho draws me. He always gives me a big butt.
Yeah. Yeah, those are fun covers. I mean, and that's really the big thing about that is having fun with it.
And it's fallen under the cancel culture of today.
Yeah.
How dare you draw that woman pretty,
Yeah, this is a weird time we're in.
So do you have like a list of artists you'd recommend for people to check out of the old and new, by chance?
Yeah, I just named them all.
I was gonna say.
Well, I didn't know if you would do more. Like maybe you had a top 10 or something.
Oh,
More
well,
along that lines.
Top 10, well, Dave Stevens would be right up there at number one.
Right.
Jim Silk,
You don't hear anything from him,
I think he's retired.
which I
If
wish
I-
which was a shame because his
Seems
Rascals
like
in
I-
Paradise was just pure.
Yeah, it seems like I read on the internet that he's like retired, he only does private commissions now or something like that. Wally Wood, Matt Baker, of course Adam Hughes,
Right.
Frank Cho, and then of course, Elvgren and Vargas and Petty, those guys, and Olivia, almost anybody that's ever drawn Betty.
Yeah. Dan DeCarlo.
Betty was like the queen of
Was it?
Cheesecake.
Well, Bob
Right.
McLeod. I'm sorry. Yeah. Did Betty and Veronica for Pet.
Bob Montana.
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 McLeod's. Yeah.
It's like-
McLeod's another
And
artist. Sorry.
Dan DeCarlo could
Yeah.
draw Cheesecake pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, Montana stuff is, it's amazing.
And, even Miss Buxley from Beetle Bailey, I mean, that's Cheesecake.
Mhm.
So,
No wonder our friend Jimmy likes Beetle Bailey.
I'm sure that's why.
He's checking out Miss
Exactly.
Buxley.
Miss Buxley.
So, yeah, I mean, Dave Stevens, Matt Baker, those are the two that you definitely should check out.
Yeah. See, for me, it's the classics. Vargas, Elvgren, Petty. Stevens, Frazetta, Wood,
Jack Cole.
Yeah.
And
And-
I've always liked Bill Wenzel, and most people don't even know who he is.
I've heard the name.
Yeah.
But,
He was around in the 60s.
And
So,
I'll tell you-
his were a little more risque because it was in the middle of the sexual revolution and
right.
everything. But
and I'll tell you another artist that we haven't really thought about mentioned is Al Williamson. He could, when he did the Flash Gordon stuff.
yeah,
Oh, and Alex Raymond also
Yeah.
could do some pretty good cheesecake. He drew.
Del Arden.
Yep.
In going through the
But the Wings and Planet Comics, they had classic Cheesecake covers.
the original Blue Beetle had lots of pin-up-y covers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Will Eisner. I mean, every time he drew Pagel, it was
Yep.
it was Cheesecake.
Oh yeah.
So
There's one that Zoe Mozart.
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 Yeah. Did you mention her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we couldn't remember who it was she studied under.
Oh, okay. She, I think she studied at the New York Museum or something like that.
But she studied under one of the big pinup artists. It was either Elvgren or
we weren't sure who she
Vargas.
She did a lot of work for True Confessions magazine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some good covers on those too. I mean,
Yeah, she was one of the top artists,
Yeah,
pinup artists
so-
at the time. She used herself a lot in her work.
really?
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't know
And
that.
she was good, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And she was pretty herself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've heard a YouTuber say that pretty women tend to draw pretty women. So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I was going to go somewhere, but I'm not going there. So, okay. Anything else you got?
No, not me.
You got anything?
No. You got any news?
What's going on in comic news real fast, I guess? What's the latest?
I
and
just
greatest?
wanted to stress that there is a difference between cheesecake art and overtly sexual,
yes, there is.
sexual
yes,
art.
yes. There definitely is.
Oh, Linsner's kind of cheesecake a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His stuff can be overtly sexual, but
Right.
a lot of it's cheesecake.
There's probably a lot of artists we're leaving off, too. but,
Probably. If you're a fan of cheesecake and you can think of some we've left off, let us know.
Yeah, that you
Definitely.
really like and would recommend people to check out if they like cheesecake art as well. Be awesome.
And if you want to send us hate mail about this, direct it all to Down.
Yep. Just post on it and just put in Quincy's Dalian. You know, that way you know.
Damn it, Dal.
Damn it, Dal. News-wise, I don't think there's really been that many great comic news.
What about the Batman? There's been some controversy with Batman lately.
Oh, that's true. We are going to get a
Are we definitely getting it?
Yes,
is
we
it
are.
confirmed?
Yes, it's confirmed.
All right. Well, I knew you would know. That's
Can I
why
spill it?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. We're getting a black Batman. It's going to be Lucius Fox's son, Lucas. And that takes place...
And why has he decided to be Batman?
I don't know. You got to read the book to find out. I don't know.
When's it coming out?
It's actually going. They're going to end. What I understood, they're going to end the regular Batman book at issue 100. Start it over for the summer of 2020. Tell the story, end that, and then start a new Batman book.
Oh,
That's even worse.
that sounds.
But we do
Hopefully the
get
stories are good, but it sounds awful.
James Tinian will be the new Batman writer after King, so that may be definitely a check out.
It's got to be better.
It has to be better.
Tyrion Lannister is writing Batman.
Yes. And Batman's just going to keep telling people he knows things, and he drinks wine. Was it reversed? I drink wine and I know things.
I drink and I know.
I drink and I know things. That's it.
I know things until I drink.
Yeah. What's funny though is Tyrion didn't know anything.
He didn't. He was more empathic on a lot of things.
Well, he actually did read a lot. I mean, before the show starts, if you read the books, I mean, before all the action and trouble started going on,
He was the
did a lot of
worst
reading and
advisor in Westeros.
Well,
Well, he saved the kingdom, though. I mean, with some of his
Yeah.
ideas.
that's true.
So Black
Temporarily.
Batman. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Black
so
Batman.
check it out.
Temporary, yeah.
I'm more my exasperated thing was at the restarting the title. I'm
You know, I think it's great that they're going to have a black Batman. I think
Well,
let's,
I'm fine with that.
That's not what I.
No, I know. We know. Yeah, I know.
My
I mean-
stance is who cares?
Yeah.
But he's going to have to cover his whole face, or people
Right.
are going to know it's not the real Batman.
Right.
Right.
So he's going to have to go with like the Batman Beyond look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just don't like them rebooting titles.
It would-
it
would
There's
be
no
better if-
need. Come on, don't
Just put
don't
it out
take
as
the Marvel way out,
a mini-series or an Elseworlds or something. I don't know.
Right.
or just
just
switch
keep- or just-
creative teams and keep the
Keep
numbers
the story
going.
going, yeah. Just something.
But you know, a new number
happened
one
with
will
Bruce-
sell great on a big flagship character like that.
Something's wrong with Bruce, and this guy has to step in, and etc., etc.
Yeah, put that. You can put the list in the trash there. So we're done with that. I will give props, and something I think we've mentioned before. It seems like all the time we talk about comics and how bad things are, we always mention Marvel because it's the truth. But I will give them props. This House of X, Powers of 10.
That they're going to relaunch.
Well, it's only going to be 12 issues. They said it was going to be 12 issues.
And then they're going to come out with another #1.
Well, they're going to launch their books. They're going to come out with another #1. They're going to launch a whole slate of books. But the House of X, Powers of 10 has been, or Powers of X, how you want to say it, has been really good.
Well, the way I say it is Powers of X because supposedly it's Weapon 10, but everyone calls it Weapon X.
Right.
So that's what I'm going with. Powers of X.
That's been really good. Avengers has been really good. Daredevil. Thank you. I think
Immortal Hulk.
Immortal Hulk. And actually, the Black Widow #1 was pretty good. Not a lot happened. I'm going to
reserve.
It's kind of set. I think it was more of a setup issue, which your first issue should be.
First issues are kind of setup issues. Otherwise, why create a first issue?
Done with you. But no, so they have actually started.
Unless you're doing like a like a Pulp Fiction issue, and you start the first issue.
See, I always wanted to do an issue
reader completely from the first issue.
I thought if I ever did one, I would do it that the ending would be the main character dies, and so each issue is like the day before.
That's already been done.
So, but no, they've actually. I think
seems like Brubaker did that in Criminal, didn't he?
Did he? I don't know. But I think that the ship was starting to sink.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the ship's kind of started just slowly getting right now.
They've bailed out enough water.
I think so. I think it's starting to right itself. We'll see in the next month or so when all these other books come out.
Something they could do to really straighten the ship? Cancel about 3/4 of their titles.
Yeah. Go back to doing an X-Men anthology, an Avengers anthology. Why am I moving my hands?
No, it doesn't even have to be an anthology.
But they could do that. I mean, they put out an anthology, each month of that family book.
We don't need 3 Black Panther books. It can barely sell 1.
True. That is true.
Same with Captain America. You only need 1 title.
Do we just have 1 or we have 2?
I don't know. It seems like we had like 6 or 8 of them.
That way at one time.
For the most part, that's all you need of any of these characters is one book. I mean, X-Men, 1 book. And just do it good.
Yeah, but X-Men though and Avengers are kind of different.
Joke about Wolverine that he was in so many books. It's like, how could he physically be in all these places at the same time?
Well, that's the same with Deadpool now. He's like all over the place.
He'd be off the planet in one, and he'd be in the middle of the earth in the other, and he'd be dead in the third one, and
yep. So, you got anything else?
No, sir.
No.
I don't have anything.
Nothing.
Carrington.
Anything you want to discuss, Carrington? Anything in the manga world or the anime world that you feel needs to be discussed?
No.
None of that has gotten any of her attention because BTS.
Yep.
And,
Behind the scenes?
And what's a BTS again? Well, we might need to tell it to her.
I joke. I know it doesn't mean behind the scenes.
Let our 2 fans.
What is it?
Bangtan Sonyeondan.
Bangtan Sonyeondan?
Yeah.
Our 2 fans in the Netherlands might need to know that.
Which is Korean for Bulletproof Boy Scouts.
Are they? Have they tested
I can see a comic book called that now.
Bulletproof Boy Scout?
Yeah.
It sounds like a winning genre of music.
So she has gone down the K-pop.
Oh, yeah.
And you have too, also, though.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
You follow.
Yeah.
Coming to the shop on Sunday to hear K-pop.
With her.
Which is not bad. It's actually kind of fun to listen to.
Catchy.
It is.
And
I'm not.
And
I'm
you
not
know
knocking
why?
it.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
Unlike American music now, where everything's just bitching about everything else.
Yep. It's kind of why I just listen to the 80s channel. I know those songs.
Well, the 80s was a fun time, really.
There was a lot of bitching in the 80s,
there was,
too, but it sounded good.
Yeah, exactly. I've been listening to the soundtrack, so good movies that I've enjoyed.
You've been listening to marching bands.
No, that's you. You've been listening to marching bands and kazoos.
A good kazoo album is hard to find.
Oh, Lord. Okay. So let us know about your cheesecake. What the like? You say it better than I do.
Like, subscribe,
Yeah.
hit the bell.
Yes,
Oh,
ring
wow,
the-
I said
ring
that
the
really
bell.
well. That was tough.
I forget the order. Let us know what you think. We do have
Like the video, hit
like the
subscribe,
video, hit
ring the
subscribe.
bell
Right,
for
there you go.
notifications.
There you
Smash
go.
the bell.
Smash the bell. We were going to do Steam Con, but we're going to be at a
Wait, I like Steam Kong better.
Steam Con. Steam Con. We did it last year, and it's in Sapulpa at the library on Main Street. And this will be their second year, but unfortunately, we will not be able to be out there because I will be at a show in Joplin, and so will Terry, shopping at
But
Joplin.
it's still, if you're here in
But if you're in Sapulpa,
it's a lot of fun.
go check it out. It's fun. You can learn how to play different board games. They've got comic artists there. They have a laser tag going on in a field next door to them. They've set up really, really cool. Steam Con. It's in Sapulpa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, you can dress up in your favorite steampunk and
Yep.
Dress up like steamed broccoli.
Yep.
Hit him, Carrington, please. And then we will be at the Riverside Comic Expo in December on the 7th. So that's where we'll be at recently. So, which is sold out at vendor tables. So.
I know. I can't remember the con, but it's not a Comic Con, but there's a gaming con coming up pretty soon here. You might want to look into. I know Through House Games would have information on it.
Yeah,
And they're going to be doing.
Is it Token Con?
It might be.
I
Maybe
think it
Token
is,
Con.
yeah.
And I know they're going to be having gaming there, computer
Mhm.
gaming
Yep.
and stuff like that. So that might be worth checking out.
Is it like the retro gaming?
It's probably a little bit of everything. I
Probably.
think. I think it's going to be a little bit of everything. Retro gaming and all the way up to current gen games.
And then
But
next,
it's not the retro one that you used to go to.
No,
I think it's kind of. It's just a new con, pretty much. I don't think they have.
it's not.
The gaming cons,
Board
at
games.
least here locally, would seem to, they have a little bit of a tough time of keeping a long-running show. So it's just, a new con. But it sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like they're putting a lot of effort into it. So,
And I think we got the first week in November is T-Pop, Tulsa Pop Expo
yeah.
at the Woodland Hills Mall in the Sears building. So
That's
Wait a
actually
minute, at the Woodland Hills Mall Sears building?
yeah,
yeah.
Woodland Hills Mall had a Sears. Oh yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Sears over on Nigel.
No, that's
That's
something.
actually a good idea.
Yeah.
though.
That really
Oh, yeah.
is. It's a,
They're
that
gonna
was a pretty good size
they're gonna
building.
bring. They've been working on a Batmobile replica, and they're gonna bring that and have it in the mall. So it's like the Batmobile from the great Tim Burton Batman movie.
Yeah.
And they've got
But that's a
lots
good
of-
idea. Find
lots
an
of
empty store and have a
parking.
con. There's air conditioning and
Yep.
parking. There's a food court
And
a
it's
walk
2
away.
levels,
And,
which would be
and
nice.
the mall will support the con because
Yep.
they want people leaving the con and shopping in the
Yeah.
mall. And
Yeah, there won't be any crazy drivers in this mall.
What?
I guess the dad went crazy in the mall the other day and drove his SUV into it and was running people over. It's amazing. Yeah. And on that note,
So they're going to take our guns away?
or the SUVs
or malls.
or malls
Malls.
Or taking
or malls.
All three.
Take away
Taking
malls.
malls away.
Yeah.
Well, the malls are getting taken away
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. So.
They're prehistoric thing of the past.
Yep. Although I still want to go play laser tag at Promenade Mall. That'd be so fun to do.
I mean, that's what malls are having to do. They're having
Yeah.
to put in laser tags and
Well, no,
the
apparently
trampoline.
there's this group that rents out the mall after hours, and you can go play laser tag of the whole mall.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
But yeah, you could
They
do
were
that
just
with
saying that
Sears.
the mall was packed this weekend.
Yeah,
yeah,
but will it be next weekend
right. What were you
when
gonna
it's
say?
not so nice out?
All right, so check us out. YouTube, Facebook, ring the bell, like the video, and subscribe, get the notifications, and check out Angel and Unicorn, Angel and her unicorn for comic book reviews. James does that
comic
with
book
Alan, a
spoilers.
friend of ours. Comic book spoilers, yeah. Yeah, I don't have to read it. Berserker Unbound now, thanks. Yeah, anyway, this is Dalian.
You knew
Terry.
about it. You could have read it.
But Dal likes to listen to spoilers, so it's,
Yeah.
he likes to be spoiled.
This is Kenny.
James.
Carrington.
Signing out.
Bye.
Thanks.